Glasses I also need now if I want to see some.
Oh, we need to play that first.
What you got?
Do not.
Well, I've got it. It's fine. It's fine. It's
My
fine.
drink's behind you.
Okay, right.
Rewind it.
That's it's just this bit is fine. Well, a little bit is fine.
Yeah, so that is more interesting.
What's his name?
Henry Dine.
Henry Dine. Let's have a look at. Put it into Google. Oh, Henry G.H. Dine. What could he be? Let's have a look. Oh, award-winning crisis actor, Henry Dine. What a man. There he is there.
What you got?
It's almost like he's been paid to pretend he's got COVID and he's on the telly. Well, shiver me timbers.
Are you having the bag on me?
No, not at all. What a scumbag.
Does it say at the bottom this is only an acting?
No, he's pretending to be real.
And this is BBC?
This is the BBC News now, like right now.
Right now?
Right now. And he's a crisis actor.
I don't believe they do that, Chris, because there's too many people.
Mum, there's about 4 of them.
Okay. So they are about to film another scene. It's probably gonna be shooting and stuff.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Flash is off. Thanks.
They're about to do another scene.
Alright guys, let's go again. Let's go weapons on.
Here we go. It's
ready.
live. Quiet on the set. Quiet on the mother.
We're on Wilkinson Avenue and Ocean Avenue. Give you a perspective of where we are. We're about a block away from where the shooting was going on. A block in that direction and then to my left. That is where the shooting happened. When we first arrived, which was about 25 minutes ago, it literally sounded like a war zone. It was, to be quite honest, it was frightening to be driving into this area. And as we were driving, we saw police vehicles, unmarked vehicles, flashing lights, sirens going. It was just surreal, to be quite honest, almost like a scene out of a movie. Just surreal, to be quite honest, almost like a scene out of a movie.
It's surreal, to be quite honest, almost like a scene out of a movie.
When we first arrived.
We're not at liberty to disclose the names of any of the victims or the actors at this point. We're not at liberty to disclose the names of any of the victims or the actors at this point. We're not at liberty to disclose the names of any of the victims or the actors at this point. That's New Jersey law on how the investigation
The Jersey City Department of Public Safety's Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security conducted a multidisciplinary active shooter exercise at the New Jersey City University School of Business located at the Mack Cali Harborside Complex earlier today. The press were allowed to film inside as the drama unfolded, which seemed at some points like a real-life drama, as gunshots were fired and different police forces from Homeland Security and Jersey City Police Department rushed to the scene to try to apprehend the shooter alive or to shoot him outright. We interviewed Jersey City Public Safety Director James Shea before the onset of the active shooter exercise.
We've been doing this with our outside company here since 2015, and we've been steadily improving the capabilities of our units, and we've actually brought more units and more partners into it as we go and as we get better at it. Again, getting better is a relative term. We're never going to be satisfied with our response. We're going to continue trying to improve.
And Director Shea, it seems like this is just part of the standard steps that the city's taking given the reality of shootings across the country. But have there been, for example, any credible threats that you're taking seriously at this point? And is this why this is happening tonight?
Well, we're a huge part of the New York metropolitan area. We're a major city with a major financial district of our own, right? And we have major universities, schools, what have proven to be attractive targets in other cities. We're very happy that we haven't had an event like that here, but we think we'd be neglecting the city if we didn't prepare for the possibility. So we're going to continue making sure that we have the capabilities to address any threat to our taxpayers that arises.
And my last question, Director Shea, at the conclusion of today's events, which happen, I guess, in a couple hours from now, what will you be looking for as you assess today's activities? I mean, what will be most important for you in the features that you'll be reassessing?
That we recognize our mistakes and that we see where we can do better, and that then we will use our vendor to talk to us about steps we need to improve in training before we do this again in 3 or 4 months, and we see if we've incorporated the lessons learned from today and gotten better. And again, it's all about making sure that when we respond, we're doing the best we can, both for our officers and our first responders and for our citizens that are depending on us.
At the conclusion of today's active shooter exercise, we interviewed the vendor, Tomahawk Strategic Solutions President Michael Biller, to find out how well the city is prepared.
Their response time was phenomenal. I'm very impressed with all the multiple responding authorities that participated and how they conducted themselves and how they progressed. We've had the pleasure and honor to work in this city for the past 3 years, and where they started was great. Where they've come is phenomenal. I'm very confident in their abilities and what they're doing, and they're actually doing some very advanced concepts, running rescue task force, and they've really refined that today. And for all those that don't know what rescue task force, it's integrating medics, just as though we used to do in our previous careers, to ensure that while we have a response to interdict a shooter or something of those means, we also have a medic or somebody who is trained to start treating victims.
Mark Busich reporting in Jersey City for Hudson County View, the eye of the community.
Love you, Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you. This is in the restroom. I'll be right back.
You're good.
Bye, everyone.
You know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence? Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
We don't want to jinx it, we don't want to say anything wrong, but what we don't want to have happen is that awful moment, and I wish I could say it's never happened, where you're on set and you start pumping blood and you look at the actor and nothing's coming out of his neck, but there's a giant red pile going on the back of his body, you know? All I'm doing with purging the line is making sure that the blood is traveling down the line and that there's pressure in the thing. So I don't know if you can see here, you got it? Chair. So this is the bit where I'm going to cut the appliance. So I'm going to start to cut. This is where I had that situation where I had an extra freak out on set. This is always I think, a very nerve-wracking piece, because you don't exactly know for sure that you are in the right place, and also, you know, you are using a pair of live scissors on next to an actor, and the whole crew are watching sometimes, and you're a little bit nervous. I just get you to turn a little bit towards the mic. There you go. These are a very, very fine pointed scissor. They snip through foam really, really well. And also they've got a lot of control over the blade. There we go. It's a little bit lower than I wanted to be, but that's actually not a bad thing. Regarding the pale colour of the foam on the inside, some people like to paint that red. I don't. Your flesh is naturally white inside. I'll bring you back to this position. And I kind of like the white because it's going to go red very, very quickly. And I like that. I really do. I like this. Now, Mike, if you drop your head down, just relax. See, it's almost like I can finger the wound back in. It's almost like it's undetectable. 3, 2, 1.
Creating this hit took an air pressurizer, a gnarly prosthetic, and a special blood formula. Making actors project, gush, and burst out blood on camera isn't just about gore. These bloody scenes require careful research and artistic flair. To find out how they do it, we went to Brett Schmidt and Greg Pikulski, the special effects makeup artists at SPFX Studio. They've created graphic injuries for mob dramas like The Irishman, medical shows like New Amsterdam, and action movies like Sicario: Day of the Soldado. It all starts with the actual prosthetics. The hardest part of creating wounds is building the look of depth.
Prosthetic makeup is an additive process, so you can only add, you can't take away.
But when you look at a wound, you're supposed to be looking into the body. The prosthetic needs to be thick enough to create that effect.
But it also has to work into the rest of the person's body. And that's why a lot of times for effects that have, lacerations or even bullet holes, you'll actually have a prosthetic that is an entire torso.
Just to create the effect of this small bullet wound in Sicario: Day of the Soldado, Brett and Greg had to sculpt a prosthetic that covered most of the actor's shoulder. For this laceration prosthetic from New Amsterdam, they were able to build up a thickness that subtly ramps up toward the laceration. Because this scene required a lot of blood, the prosthetic also had to be thick enough to hide a medium-sized vinyl tube. For smaller wounds, Brett and Greg might use one of these tiny tubes. These can be hidden in actors' hair or even a pair of glasses like they did in this scene from Sicario: Day of the Soldado. To hide the larger tubes, however, they had to sculpt a special channel in the prosthetic.
You don't want to put a tube in, that creates a bulge or anything like that. That'll give away the effect.
On set, they hid the rest of the tube underneath and behind the actress. How the blood comes out of the tube depends on what you use to power it. In this scene, a piece of shrapnel has hit a patient's artery. To create the kind of spray that results from an artery rupture, the blood has to be released at a high pressure out of a centralized location, like you see in this test run with water. They get that effect using this little device.
This is a tiny little garden sprayer that's usually used for spraying various chemicals on your flowers or whatnot.
After they prime the line with some pre-existing blood, they let out the blood in a pulsing motion to emulate real arterial bleeding.
3, 2, 1.
The key was using a lot of blood. For the full effect, though, you'd need to see this in slow-mo.